Welcome to the program. As negotiations drag on in Canberra over who should form a minority government, the Labor Party is trumpeting the latest balance of payments figures as evidence of its economic credentials. Australia recorded its largest quarterly trade surplus in the June quarter, with export volumes rising by 5.6%. The Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, and Treasurer Wayne Swan are hoping the figures will have some sway, with the three rural independents in particular who will decide their fate. But if so, it will only be one of a number of factors in play. Both sides were today sharpening their sales pitch to the independents, who spent much of the day at government department briefings. Political editor Heather Hewitt.
The likely outcome of ongoing negotiations to form a minority government is about as clear as the fog that shrouded Parliament House this morning. But the sales pitch is certainly now in full swing, and it's directed at just three men.
The independents have immense power. The independents will determine the future of this nation.
Have you briefed the independents yet?
No, but I will be sometime this week. Okay. We are awaiting their call.
We're due to speak with the independents later this week, and I'm looking forward to it. I have great respect for all of the three that I know.
Tony Abbott's front bench members had descended on Canberra for their first meeting since the election, and all were in readiness to give briefings to the rural independents who'll decide their fate. Rob Oakeshott, Tony Windsor and Bob Catter.
We are no longer an opposition. We may very well be a government in waiting. It's clear that while we don't yet have a final result from the election, that the Labor Party has first lost its way, and then in the election it lost its majority and it lost its legitimacy.
It was a message for the independents as much as the shadow cabinet, and they all knew it.
If what people want is a better deal for regional Australia, only the coalition can deliver, and I note that there are six residents of regional Australia sitting around this table. If the caretaker cabinet were to meet, there would be no residents of regional Australia sitting at the table.
Over at the National Press Club, Julia Gillard had the look of someone still in campaign mode. Like the man she's still trying to beat to the top job 10 days after the election, her pitch was as much to the independents as the packed audience.
What is needed more than anything now is continuity. Continuity, certainty and delivery. I believe that I can provide that stability, certainty and continuity. I have heard and absorbed the message from the Australian people delivered in this election. We were elected with a wide-ranging program in 2007, and in government we added to that breadth.
But she again conceded parts of the program didn't go to plan and suggested some challenges were just too hard to conquer in one term.
The lesson I've learned from this is that leadership requires boldness, patience and methodical work. Many Australians will have watched what appears to be a scramble for policies for regional Australia in recent days. Let me assure Australians there's no scramble on the Labor side. We don't have to rediscover regional Australia because we never lost it.
If that's the case, it could well be argued then why didn't Labor pick up more seats in the bush to win the election? Still, we're in different times now, and pandering to regional Australia seems to be the name of the game for both sides in their bid to woo the independents. This was Julia Gillard's first appearance at the Press Club since the election campaign, and under questioning, she defended Labor's use of focus groups, saying they never guided the big decisions, and anyway, the coalition used them too.
Do people really imagine that Tony Abbott read every Conservative thinker in the globe, consulted long and hard with experts, sat with his team agonising night after night, looked into the depths of his soul and came out with "Stop the boats"? Is that what you think happened? Now, really?
Back to those crucial independents, though. Julia Gillard has promised the parliamentary reforms they're seeking, such as changes to question time, but would not reveal the details of the Press Club. If the strategy behind her televised performance today was to reinforce her credentials to the independents, it's doubtful they would have even heard her. They were busy dashing about getting briefings from government departments.
Will I listen to her speech? I'll try, but there are back-to-back meetings today. We'll just see how we go.
As briefings and negotiations drag on, there's been some confusion over the Electoral Commission's two-party preferred figures, which Labor had claimed ran in its favour and gave it the moral edge. Last night, though, the figures had swung back to the coalition.
Julia Gillard made the claim that the two-party preferred vote gave her some moral authority to form government. Well, that plank has now been taken away.
This is all a bit of a storm in a teacup anyway, because the thing that matters is the number of seats occupied by those supporting the government when the House of Representatives comes back.
By late today, the tally was back in Labor's favour. But in any case, the ABC's election analyst, Anthony Green, says no one should be taking too much notice because 8 seats, including the independents, have now been excluded.
The Electoral Commission's figures are currently incomplete, and people think they're complete and they're not. I think the Electoral Commission has tried to deliver what people want, which is a two-party preferred outcome. And if this wasn't a close election, nobody would care whether the Electoral Commission was 0.3% out. But with an election hovering around 50%, the inaccuracies in what they're reporting, the incompleteness of what they're reporting, has actually confused people.
There's lots of interest around primary votes, two-party preferred, preference flows. But in the end, the job we've all got to do this week and potentially into early next week is how can we nail stable government for the next 3 years.
And that's pretty much what it boils down to and what the nation is waiting for. While the independents talk, hopefully, of having their work done by Friday, next week is a more likely scenario.
Political editor Heather Ewart.